Hello everyone, I'm Kanchan and welcome to Aptiptus Academy for Civil Services, our premier institution for preparing for civil services in India. Today, I'm here for a daily news and editorial analysis for 14th and 15th of March 2024. And this editorial analysis is going to be important for all three stages of UPSC, which are UPSC prelims, mains and interview process. And apart from UPSC exams, this editorial analysis is going to be important for all the government exams in India. So without further delay, let us begin the analysis. Recently, the Reserve Bank of India and Bank of Indonesia signed Memorandum of Understanding to establish a framework to promote the use of local currencies for cross-border transactions. And in this context, this news becomes important for UPSC prelims perspective and also for the GS paper 2 of UPSC mains. And under GS paper 2, this topic caters to the syllabus, government policies and interventions, bilateral groupings and agreements. And in this topic, we are going to discuss about the key highlights of the Memorandum of Understanding. Then we'll discuss the India-Indonesia relations and we'll discuss the efforts taken by the government of India for the internationalization of the rupee. Then we'll discuss the PYQ that has been asked from this topic. So let us begin the analysis. So this is the map of the Indonesia and you can see the yellow colored portions are all the Indonesia, and Indonesia is a very large country and it shares borders with the Papua New Guinea, Brunei, Malaysia, Singapore, etc. And there are many countries here which are important from the UPSC prelims perspective. For instance, Myanmar, Laos and Thailand are very important because they forms the Golden Triangle. So they form the Golden Triangle. And the Golden Triangle countries are countries where there is high number of drug usage and drug trade globally. So the Golden Triangle and the Golden Crescent are the countries where there is high number of drug trade, and India being a country which is sandwiched between the Golden Triangle and the Golden Crescent, these countries pose a great threat to India's security. So for this reason, this Golden Triangle countries are important. So you need to know which countries shares borders with Indonesia, and the capital of Indonesia was Jakarta earlier. So Jakarta was the capital of India earlier, but now the capital of Indonesia has changed to Nusantara. So now Nusantara is the capital of Indonesia. So these are the important facts that you need to know about, and Indonesia is also the largest island country in the world. So these facts are important for the UPSC prelims perspective, and this map is also important for mapping in UPSC. So you need to know about this map. So now let us discuss about the key highlights of the Memorandum of Understanding between the India and Indonesia. So the Memorandum of Understanding between the Reserve Bank of India and the Bank of Indonesia comes after the same announcement that was done in 2023, because in 2023 India and Malaysia had announced that they will settle the trade in Indian currencies or the Indian rupee in addition to the other currencies. So this was the background why the Reserve Bank of India and the Bank of Indonesia signed this agreement. And talking about the key highlights of the Memorandum of Understanding, the primary objective of this MEU is to facilitate the bilateral transactions in INR and Indonesian rupees, covering all transactions. So to facilitate the bilateral transactions in Indian rupees and the Indonesian rupees, this MOU was signed, and to foster the development of Indian rupees and Indonesian rupees in the foreign exchange market. So the Indian rupees and the Indonesian dollars in the foreign exchange market will be boosted by this Memorandum of Understanding, and it is expected to promote the trade between India and Indonesia, and it will also deepen the financial integration and enhance the historical, cultural and economic relations between two nations. So apart from boosting the trade, the cultural relations, historical relations will also be boosted between these countries. So for this reason, this Memorandum of Understanding between the RBI and Bank of Indonesia is important. So now let us discuss the India-Indonesia relations in detail.
And I suggest that this conference should call upon the powers of the world to disarm.
In 1961, the non-aligned movement had its first summit. Its principles were based on human rights, non-interference, sovereignty, non-aggression, and equality. Essentially, members agreed they wouldn't ally themselves or be involved in defense pacts with either the US or the Soviet Union. They came together to support their country's independence and resist imperialism and colonialism. Notably, many of these members were from developing nations that had recently become independent from colonial rule. Today, it has over 100 members, but the movement doesn't have a constitution or even a permanent secretariat, unlike other organizations such as the African Union. And its highest decision-making body usually meets once every 3 years. The actual running of the movement is the responsibility of the country holding the chairmanship.
So talking about the India-Indonesia relations, the commercial relations is very important for both countries because Indonesia is the second largest trading partner of India in the ASEAN region. So the Indonesia is the part of the ASEAN countries and the ASEAN groupings, and the bilateral trade has increased from the $4.3 billion in 2005-06 to US $38.84 billion in 2023-24. And so far as the political relations of the India and Indonesia is concerned, both countries were chief supporters of the independence of Asian and African countries, leading to the Bandung Conference of 1955. So the Bandung Conference of 1955 was part of the non-aligned movement, and after the Bandung Conference of 1955, the non-aligned movement or the NAM started in 1961. So with the effort of the India and Indonesia and Egypt and other countries, the non-aligned movement started, and they actively supported for the independence of the countries in Asia and Africa. So the historical relation between the India and Indonesia dates back to 1950s and 40s, and Indonesia is one of the priority country in the Lookist policy of India, and the Lookist policy, which was started by Government of India during the Narasimha Rao government in 1991, is the policy that aims to actively engage with the Southeast Asian countries, and the Indonesia is one of the priority countries of India in the Lookist policy of 1991. And so for this reason, Indonesia is important, and both countries are the members of G20, East Asia Summit, and also the United Nations. So both the Indonesia and India is connected by these international and intergovernmental organizations. And so far as the cultural relations between India and Indonesia is concerned, the stories from the great epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata form the stories or the source of the stories in Indonesian folk and dramas. So in the Indonesian folk and dramas, there are sources of Ramayana and Mahabharata, and they are hugely inspired by the Ramayana and Mahabharata. And there are approximately 1 lakh people of Indian origin living in Indonesia, and they are also important source of the remittances for India. So for this reason, India and Indonesia relations is important. So these were the important facts about the India and Indonesia relations. Now let us discuss the steps taken by Government of India in the internationalization of Indian rupees. As far as the efforts taken by the Government of India for the internationalization of rupee is concerned, the Government of India has liberalized the capital markets because there is full capital account convertibility in India, and the availability of rupee denominated financial instruments such as the masala bonds and the derivatives have been increased to enhance the rupee's appeal in the foreign market. And also the Government of India has actively promoted the digital payment systems. For instance, the Unified Payment Interface or UPI of Government of India have facilitated the digital transactions in rupees, and the countries like Sri Lanka, Mauritius, France, UAE, Singapore, Bhutan and Nepal have already adopted UPI for the digital payment system. The Government of India has also permitted the special voice to rupee accounts for the settlement of trades or the transactions in the Indian rupees, and the Government of India has also authorized the banks from 18 countries which includes the banks from Russia and Malaysia to open the special voice to rupee accounts for settling payments in rupees at market determined exchange rates. So through the special voice to rupee accounts, the Government of India is allowing the transaction in the rupees with the different countries. So this is also an important initiative of Government of India, and the Government of India has also signed the currency swap agreements with many countries. For instance, the countries like Japan, Sri Lanka and the countries in SAARC countries. So through the currency swap agreements as well, the internationalization of rupee has increased. So these are the efforts taken by the government of India for the internationalization of rupee. Now let us discuss the PYQ that has been asked from the similar topic. UPSC in 2015 asked this question related to the convertibility of rupees, and the question was the convertibility of rupees implies. The statement 1 is being able to convert rupee notes into gold. Statement B is allowing the value of rupee to be fixed by the market forces. Statement C is freely permitting the conversion of rupee to another currencies and vice versa. And the statement D is developing an international market for currencies in India. So these are the statements, and the answer for this question is pretty straightforward. Comment the answer of this question in the comment section. Now let us move into another topic of discussion for today.
इंदौर हाईकोर्ट ने एएसआई सर्वे का आदेश दे दिया है। माननीय इंदौर हाईकोर्ट ने जीपीआर सर्वे के द्वारा, जीपीएस सर्वे के द्वारा, एक्सकेवेशन के द्वारा, डेटिंग मेथड्स के द्वारा इस सर्वे को करने के लिए कहा है।
वैज्ञानिक तरीके से रिपोर्ट की जाए ताकि यहाँ तथ्यों का पता लगाया जा सके, और बिना रिपोर्ट इस मामले का फैसला नहीं हो सकता।
नोटिस जारी किया था। दोनों पक्षों को सुनने के बाद हमने मांग रखी थी और मैंने बहस की थी इंदौर हाईकोर्ट के सामने कि यहाँ पे एएसआई द्वारा सर्वेक्षण होना चाहिए, और आज इंदौर हाईकोर्ट ने एएसआई सर्वे का आदेश दे दिया है। माननीय इंदौर हाईकोर्ट ने जीपीआर सर्वे के द्वारा, जीपीएस सर्वे के द्वारा, एक्सकेवेशन के द्वारा, डेटिंग मेथड्स के द्वारा इस सर्वे को करने के लिए कहा है, और साथ ही साथ एएसआई की 5 मेंबर की टीम बनाई है जिसको हेड करेंगे एएसआई के डायरेक्टर या एडिशनल डायरेक्टर, और सारे सीनियर मेंबर्स की टीम 5 सदस्यीय टीम होगी जो ये सर्वे करेगी, और 6 हफ्ते के अंदर माननीय इंदौर हाईकोर्ट के सामने रिपोर्ट सबमिट करेंगे। ज्ञान व्यापी के सर्वे की रिपोर्ट ऑनरेबल इस समय डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट के सामने फाइल हो चुकी है, और ये एक सेपरेट प्रोसीडिंग है जो इंदौर हाईकोर्ट में हमने रिट पिटीशन के माध्यम से फाइल की थी, और सेक्शन 16 के तहत एएसआई एक्ट 1958 के सेक्शन 16 के तहत धार्मिक स्वरूप तय करने के लिए सर्वे का आदेश दिया गया।
Recently, the Madhya Pradesh High Court ordered the Archaeological Survey of India for the survey of Gosala complex in Madhya Pradesh, and in this context, this news becomes important for the UPSC prelims perspective and also for the GS paper 1 of the UPSC mains. And under GS paper 1, this topic caters to the syllabus Indian heritage sites. In this topic, we are going to discuss about the news in detail. We'll discuss what is the Gosala temple, then we'll discuss what is the Archaeological Survey of India and its motive, and lastly we'll discuss the PYQ that has been asked from this topic. So let us begin the analysis. The High Court of Madhya Pradesh ordered the Archaeological Survey of India to conduct the survey of this Gosala temple because there was a controversy related to the original status of the site of this temple, and the petitioners cited the ASI report claiming that the original Gosala temple were demolished to build the mosque. So the petitioners believed that the original temple, which is the Gosala temple, was demolished by the Muslims, and they also built the mosque in the Gosala temple. So for this reason, this controversy came up, and the survey was requested to determine the actual history of this site. So this was the context of the news. Now let us know the detail about the Gosala temple complex in detail. The Gosala temple, or the Kamala Maula Mosque complex, was originally dedicated to the goddess Saraswati, and this was built by the Paravara king Bhoja in 11th century AD, and this monument also retains some slabs inscribed with the Sanskrit and Prakrit language. So the Sanskrit and Prakrit literary works has also been inscribed in the slabs of this monument, and the King Bhoja, who is noted as the great patron of art and literature, is said to have established a school which is also known as the Gosala School of Art and Culture. So the Gosala School of Art was established by the King Bhoja, and under the agreement with the Archaeological Survey of India, Hindus perform puja in the temple every Tuesday, and the Muslims also offer the namaz in the temple every Friday. So these are the important facts about the Gosala temple complex, and these facts are important from the UPSC prelims perspective. You'll know why this topic is important from the PYQ that we'll discuss in the later part of the video. And now let us discuss about the Archaeological Survey of India and related facts. The Archaeological Survey of India falls under the Ministry of Culture, and it is the premier organization for the archaeological resource and protection of the cultural heritage of the nation. And the Archaeological Survey of India administers more than 3650 ancient monuments and the archaeological sites and the remains of the national importance for India, and its activities includes carrying out surveys of the antiquarian remains, the exploration and excavation of the archaeological sites, conservation and the maintenance of protected monuments, etc. So there are many tasks assigned to the Archaeological Survey of India, and these are the some important tasks which are assigned to the Archaeological Survey of India. And the Archaeological Survey of India was founded in 1861 by the Alexander Cunningham. So this is the picture of the Alexander Cunningham you can see in the background, and the Alexander Cunningham founded the Archaeological Survey of India in 1861, and the Alexander Cunningham was also the first Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. And the Alexander Cunningham is also known as the father of Indian archaeology. So these facts are very important from the UPSC prelims perspective. So these are the important facts about the Archaeological Survey of India that you need to know about. Now let us discuss the PYQ that has been asked from this topic. So this is the PYQ, and this UPSC PYQ was asked in 2020, and the question was, with reference to the history of India, consider the following pairs. So you have to basically match these places with the places where they belong to. So Vilsa, Madhya Pradesh, Dwarsamundra, Maharashtra, Girinagar, Gujarat, and the Sthaneswara with the Uttar Pradesh. So in this question that you can see, these all temples or these all archaeological sites were there in news at that time, and for this reason this type of question came. And this year as well UPSC might ask a question that the Vosala temple recently seen in news belongs to which of the following state, or this Vosala temple might come in the match the following type of question. And in this question the Vilsa is located in Madhya Pradesh, this is correct. And the Dwarsamundra is not located in Maharashtra, Dwarsamundra is located in Karnataka. Girinagar is located in Gujarat, so this is also correctly matched. And the Sthaneswara is located in Haryana. So the pair number 4 and the pair number 2 is incorrectly matched. So for this reason the answer is the B. So the Vilsa is located in Madhya Pradesh, and Dwarsamundra is located in Karnataka, Girinagar is located in Gujarat, and Sthaneswara is located in Haryana. So this type of question is asked in UPSC. So you have to remember the place where the particular archaeological site belongs to, and the importance of the archaeological site. So these were all the facts about the Vosala temple complex. Now let us move into another topic of discussion for today. Recently, the Election Commissioner of India, Arun Goel, resigned from office before the election, and in this context, this news becomes important for the UPSC prelims perspective and also for the GS paper 2 of UPSC mains. And under GS paper 2, this topic falls under the syllabus constitutional bodies. And in this topic, we are going to discuss about the Election Commission of India in detail. We'll understand what are the constitutional provisions related to the Election Commission of India. And then we'll discuss the structures, appointments and tenures of Election Commissioner and the Election Commission of India. And lastly, we'll discuss about the PYQ that has been asked from this topic. So let us begin the analysis. The Election Commission of India is an autonomous constitutional authority, and it is responsible for administrating union and state election. So the Election Commission of India is not only responsible for the union elections or the election to the parliament, but they are also responsible for the state elections or the elections of the member of legislative assemblies. And the Election Commission of India was established in 1950 on 25th of January, and for this reason the 25th of January is celebrated as the National Voters' Day. And the Secretariat of the Election Commission of India is located in New Delhi, and the Election Commission of India conducts elections to the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and state legislative assemblies in India, and also for the offices of President and Vice President of the country. And one important fact about the Election Commission of India is that it is not concerned with the elections to the panchayats and municipalities in the state, because the Constitution of India provides for the separate state election commission for conduction of the panchayats and municipality elections. Now let us discuss about the constitutional provisions related to the Election Commission of India. so far as the constitutional provisions of the Election Commission of India is concerned, the Part 15 of the Constitution of India deals with the elections, and it also establishes the Election Commission for these matters. So the Part 15, which contains the articles from 324 to 329, contains the constitutional provisions for the Election Commission of India, and the Article 324 of the Constitution of India says that the superintendence, direction and the control of elections to be vested in the Election Commission of India. So under Article 324 of the Constitution of India, superintendence, direction and the control of elections are vested in the Election Commission of India. So this article is very important. The questions are directly asked from this article, and the Article 325 prevents the discrimination for inclusion in or claim to be included in a special electoral roll on the grounds of religion, race, caste or sex. So basically the Article 325 of the Constitution of India prevents the discrimination for inclusion of the people in the electoral roll based on religion, race, caste or sex. So this article is also important, and the Article 326 of the Constitution of India is also very important because this article basically relates with the universal basic adult suffrage. So the elections to the House of People and the legislative assemblies of the state should be based on the adult suffrage as per the Article 326 of the Constitution of India. And so far as the Article 327 of the Constitution of India is concerned, this article empowers the Parliament to make provisions with respect to the elections to the legislatures. So the Parliament can make the provisions for the elections to the legislatures using the Article 327. And similarly, the Article 328 provides the powers to the legislature of the state to make the provision with respect to the elections to such legislature. So the state legislature can also make rules or provisions related to the election in state under the Article 328 of the Constitution of India. And Article 329 is very important because the Article 329 bars the interference of courts in the electoral matters. So basically under Article 329 of the Constitution of India, the courts or any court in India cannot interfere in the political processes that is going on in India. For instance, if the Election Commission of India decides to conduct elections from the certain date, then any court in India cannot question the Election Commission of India that why this date was chosen for the electoral process. So the Election Commission of India has freedom to conduct elections, and there is no interference of the courts in this matter. And so far as the elections to the local bodies are concerned, the Article 243K and the Article 243ZA provides for the elections to the local bodies such as the municipalities and the panchayats, and the Article 243K provides for the State Election Commission. So these are the important constitutional provisions related to the Election Commission of India. And in UPSC prelims, you might be asked to match these articles with its provisions, and you might also be directly asked question from these articles. So for this reason, you have to know these articles, and these articles are also important for writing your introduction in your UPSC mains answer. Now let us discuss an important case related to the appointment of Election Commission of India, which was recently seen in news. Recently, in Anup Barnwal versus Union of India case 2023, a 5-judge bench of Supreme Court of India unanimously ruled that the appointment of Chief Election Commissioner and the election commissioners shall be made by the President on the advice of the committee consisting of the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition of Lok Sabha and the Chief Justice of India. So previously, the President of India had sole authority to appoint the Chief Election Commissioner of India and the Election Commissioner. So there was a bias related to the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner of India and the Election Commissioner of India, because the people protested that the Election Commissioner of India and the Chief Election Commissioner of India are pro-government because they are usually appointed by the government. So for this reason, there was a protest related to the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner of India and the Election Commissioner of India. So in this light, the Supreme Court of India in Anup Barnwal versus Union of India case 2023 ruled that the appointment power of the Chief Election Commissioner and the Election Commissioner of India should not solely lie on the President of India or the executive government, but the appointment power should lie in the committee consisting of the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha and the Chief Justice of India. And so far as the Leader of Opposition is concerned, the Leader of largest opposition party in the Lok Sabha would be considered the Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha. And after the judgment of Supreme Court of India in Anup Barnwal versus Union of India case 2023, the Parliament passed the Election Commissioner and other Election Commissioner Appointment Conditions of Service and Terms of Office Act 2023. So after the judgment of Supreme Court of India in the Anup Barnwal versus Union of India case 2023, the appointment process of the Chief Election Commissioner of India and the Election Commissioner of India has become transparent. So this was the judgment of Supreme Court of India in Anup Barnwal versus Union of India case 2023. Now let us discuss about the structure, tenures and the appointments of the Election Commission of India. So far as the structure of Election Commission of India is concerned, originally only one Election Commissioner was there. After the Election Commissioner Amendment Act of 1989, the Election Commission was made a multi-member body. So the Election Commission of India is a multi-member body only after the 1989, and as per the Act, the Election Commission of India shall consist of Chief Election Commissioner and such other member as determined by the President of India from time to time. So the President of India basically determines the number of election commissioners in India, and presently the Election Commission of India consists of the Chief Election Commissioner and also the 2 election commissioners. And so far as the appointments and the tenures of the commissioners are concerned, the President appoints the Chief Election Commissioner and also the election commissioners as per the Chief Election Commissioners and other election commissioners Appointment, Conduct of Service and Term of Office Act of 2023. So as per this act, the President appoints the Chief Election Commissioners and the election commissioners, and the tenure of the Chief Election Commissioners and the election commissioners is 6 years or up to the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. So you should not get confused that the tenure of the Election Commissioner of India is 6 years, not the 5 years. And the age of retirement of Election Commissioners of India is not 62 but 65. And the salary and the conditions of the service of Chief Election Commissioners and Election Commissioners are equivalent to the Cabinet Secretary of India. But before this, the salary and the conditions of service was equivalent to the Judge of Supreme Court of India. But now this has changed, and now the salary and conditions of service is equivalent to the Cabinet Secretary. And so far as the removal and resignation of the Election Commissioners of India is concerned, they can resign anytime. So the Chief Election Commissioner can resign anytime, and the Chief Election Commissioner can be removed from office only through the process of removal similar to the Supreme Court judge by the Parliament. So the Chief Election Commissioners can only be removed in the same way as the Judge of the Supreme Court of India. So only the Parliament of India has the power to remove the Chief Election Commissioner of India, but the Election Commissioners can be removed by the recommendation of Chief Election Commissioner of India. So if the Chief Election Commissioner of India recommends to the President of India that the election commissioners should be removed, then the President of India can remove the election commissioners. So these were the important facts about the structures, appointments and the tenures of the Election Commission of India. Now let us discuss the PYQ that has been asked from this topic. The UPSC in 2017 asked this question related to the Election Commission of India, and the question was, consider the following statements. Statement 1 is, the Election Commission of India is a 5-member body. Statement 2 is, the Union Ministry of Home Affairs decides the election schedule for the conduct of both the general elections and the by-elections. And the statement 3 is, Election Commission resolves the disputes relating to the splits or mergers of the recognized political parties. Which of the statements given above are correct? So this is a simple question, and in this question, if you see the statement 1, the Election Commission of India is a 5-member body. So we just saw that the Election Commission of India consists of 3 members only, and the Union Ministry of Home Affairs decides the schedule for the conduct of both general elections and by-elections. So this is also not true, because the Election Commission of India is the only authority which can decide the election schedule for the conduct both the general elections and the by-elections in India. And the statement 3 is that the Election Commission resolves the disputes relating to the splits or mergers of the recognized political parties. So the statement 3 is correct because the Election Commission of India resolves the disputes relating to the splits or mergers of the recognized political parties in India. So the answer is D, 3 only. So this type of question is asked in UPSC. So you need to know about the constitutional bodies in India. So the Election Commission of India is one of the constitutional body in India. So similarly, you should know about other constitutional bodies in India. For instance, CAG, the Supreme Court of India, the High Courts of India, etc. So these were all important facts about the Election Commission of India, and this was also the last topic of discussion for today. And today as well, I have come up with an important quote of the day for you. Now let us look at the quote that I have got for you. So the quote of the day for today is, don't stop when you are tired, but stop only when you are done. So this quote is self-explanatory, and this quote is very relevant for all the UPSC aspirants and also the government job aspirants in India, and they should keep this quote in mind. And with this quote, I am concluding today's session. We'll meet again in the next video. Till then, take care.